In this lecture, we are going to be graphing quadratic equations. The equation that we have is y equals x squared minus 9. The first thing I need to do is find the x-intercepts. I could solve this by using factoring and then ZPP, or I could use the quadratic formula. I'm going to go ahead and factor this one because I noticed right away that it's difference of squares. So how do you get 9? Well, that's 3 and 3. How do you get x squared? That's x and x. And then your signs are going to be plus and minus. So now, because I'm solving this, I'm going to set it equal to 0. Then I'm going to do ZPP and set each factor equal to 0. So I have x plus 3 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. Now I need to solve for x. So for the first equation, I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides, and I get x equals negative 3. And for the second equation, I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I get x equals 3. Now I'm going to put those x-intercepts on my graph. So I'm going to have x equals positive 3 and x equals negative 3. The second thing I need to do is find the middle of the graph. So I need to find the line of symmetry. The equation for the line of symmetry is x equals opposite b over 2a. Well, looking at my equation, my a value is going to be equal to 1, and my b value is going to be equal to 0. If you look at the equation, there is no term with an x. So I'm going to consider that to be a 0. This is my a value, this is my c value, so there's nothing for b, so that's 0. So now I plug it in. I get x equals opposite 0 over 2 times 1. So then I have x equals 0. So x equals 0 is going to be my line of symmetry. The last thing I need to find is the vertex. And remember, the vertex is going to be an ordered pair, x comma y. Well, I already know what my x value is. So now I take the equation and plug in 0 for x. So I'm going to have y equals 0 squared minus 9. 0 squared is 0. So I have 0 minus 9. And that equals negative 9. So my vertex is 0, negative 9. Finally, the last thing I need to do is actually draw the graph. So I'm going to connect all the dots with that orange being my minimum value.